You've worked incredibly hard again today. Did you perhaps find yourself tossing and turning last night? Or even into the early hours of this morning? As the clock by your bed raced toward 2 a.m., then 3 a.m., you've probably experienced that crushing, suffocating weight on your chest while staring wide-eyed into the dark room alone. When you first opened your eyes this morning, you probably made a firm resolution. I am absolutely finishing all my backlog today. Starting today, I'm definitely studying English for at least an hour after work. My diet officially begins today. You likely wrote down these grand, flawless plans on the first page of your diary or in your phone's notes app. Yet the moment you actually sat down at your desk, your chest strangely tightened. Maybe I should just clear my head for a second. And just like that, you mindlessly fell into the rabbit hole of the YouTube algorithm, letting an hour or two completely slip away. By the time you snapped out of it, it was already 11 p.m. It's a bit too late to start now. I should just wake up early tomorrow and start fresh. Compromising with yourself, you push things off for yet another day. But the second you lie down in bed, a horrific tidal wave of self-loathing comes crashing over you. Why on earth am I like this? Why is my willpower so incredibly weak and lazy? Everyone else is running miles ahead, and here I am. Am I just going to spend my whole life crawling on the bottom like this? The harsh self-flagellation and sharp criticisms you hurl at yourself, even when your heart is already bleeding and pierced by those pointed words, we just can't seem to stop the blame. Hello there. This is Psychology Lemon, a place that fills your grueling daily life with comfort and courage. Today is our third episode, and I've prepared this story specifically for you, the one who always makes grandiose plans, but suffers because you can't even take the first step, blaming yourself as a hopeless slacker. You don't need to stop whatever you're doing right now. Whether you're on a crowded subway commuting or just washing the dishes, that's perfectly fine. I simply hope my voice reaches a small corner of your exhausted heart as we slowly and deeply look into what is truly going on inside our minds. First and foremost, I need to tell you this. You are absolutely not lazy. You didn't put that work off because you lack willpower or because you are inherently a slothful person. You are just utterly terrified. You might be asking, what kind of nonsense is that? What does laziness and putting things off have to do with fear? But if we put our inner world under a microscope, we'd see a massive, dark emotion coiled up at the very bottom of that procrastination. It is the horrific fear of, I might not be able to do this perfectly. In other words, the anxiety born of perfectionism. From here on out, let's trace the chilling 3-step process of how this perfectionism eats away at our souls and paralyzes our bodies. As you listen, you might find yourself startled, thinking, wait, did they install a CCTV inside my brain? The first stage that drags us into the swamp of lethargy is the obsession with a perfect start. When we are about to start something, we already paint the most dazzling, flawless version of the end result in our heads. It's like a blueprint without a single millimeter of error. If it's a project, we imagine a perfect report that earns a standing ovation from a professor or boss. If it's a diet, we picture a physique so flawless we could shoot a fitness magazine cover. If it's writing, we imagine flowing, eloquent sentences that would make a best-selling author jealous. The problem is, our eyes are fixed on the peak of Mount Everest above the clouds, but in reality, our 2 feet are still standing on the dusty ground. The moment we face that colossal gap, our brain sets off the alarm bells. That suffocating feeling you get when you stare at a blank monitor or an empty canvas. Can I actually produce that perfect result? What if my meager skills are exposed? If I start and ruin it, that will be entirely due to my own incompetence. The second those thoughts flash through your mind, the fear rushes in. It suddenly feels infinitely safer to leave the canvas completely blank and white, rather than risking ruining it with your clumsy brushstrokes. To perfectionists, failure isn't just messing up a task. Failure is synonymous with my worth as a human being compromised. This happens because you firmly believe that your output is your compass and your achievements are your reason for existing. Because of this, our subconscious activates a highly cunning defense mechanism. If I don't start, at least I won't fail, right? Exactly. If you do nothing, you won't get hurt, and you won't be judged by others. You weren't lying in bed because you were lazy. You were curled up in a defensive posture, hiding your fragile ego to protect it from the wild predator known as failure. You are like a knight who put on incredibly thick, heavy steel armor to protect themselves, but the armor is so heavy that you can't take a single step, ending up crushed beneath your own weight. But does not starting actually bring you peace of mind? Absolutely not. This is where the second stage begins: productive procrastination and the amplification of anxiety. This stage is terrifying, yet I know so many of you will deeply relate to it. You have a mountain of genuinely important work to do, but oddly enough, literally everything else in the world suddenly becomes wildly fascinating, except that one task. You suddenly start cleaning your desk, scrubbing your monitor until it squeaks, and neatly organizing your computer folders by year and month. Documentaries you would never normally glance at are suddenly riveting, and you pull out the vacuum because a single strand of hair on the floor is driving you crazy. We call this productive procrastination. You avoid the core, terrifying task while handling trivial chores, deceiving yourself by saying, "I'm not just messing around, I'm doing something productive right now." It's a cheap anesthetic meant to numb the guilt, but do you remember the feeling that washes over you once the desk is completely clean? Is it pride? No. It's a bone-chilling anxiety. On the surface, it looks like you worked hard at something, but your subconscious knows the truth. You haven't even started what you actually need to do. Time is still ticking, and the bomb's timer is running out. It's exactly like sprinting for your life on a treadmill while a giant boulder is rumbling right behind you. You are sweating profusely and running as hard as you can, but you haven't moved a single inch forward, and the boulder is only getting closer. In this stage, we burn double the energy spent trying not to do the task, and the energy spent suppressing the surging anxiety. Consequently, by the time you finally sit at your desk to start the real work, you are already completely drained, plunging into a state of fake burnout where you can't do anything at all. Did you think that was the end? The most heartbreaking and cruel tragedy occurs in the final third stage, the self-fulfilling prophecy of failure and the completion of self-loathing. You delay and delay until the deadline is finally right in front of your nose. Only when the fire on your feet has practically turned into flowing lava do you start working like a maniac. You cram! Your heart is pounding out of your chest. Adrenaline floods your system, and you tap into superhuman strength to squeeze out a result somehow. However, no matter how much superhuman strength you used, the quality is inevitably going to be lower than something created with ample time and peace of mind. After submitting that sloppy result, we think to ourselves, if I just had one more day, I could have done it perfectly. I only did it like this because I didn't have enough time. Surprisingly, this too is a flawless shield of excuses meticulously calculated by our subconscious. What if you had poured an immense amount of time and effort into it from the very beginning, doing your absolute best, and the result was still terrible? Then you would truly have to face the fact that you lack the ability. For a perfectionist, that is nothing short of a death sentence. Therefore, you intentionally drove yourself into a desperate corner where you had no choice but to cram. You did it to protect your pride, to be able to say, "I didn't fail because I lack ability. It's just because I was lazy and ran out of time." The act of procrastination was, in fact, the most miserable and tragic survival strategy chosen by your fragile inner child who was utterly terrified of getting hurt. But the end of this strategy is ultimately devastating self-loathing. Outwardly, you rationalize it by saying, "I didn't have time," but deep down, your trust in yourself shatters into pieces. I am like this every single time. I'm a piece of trash who can't even keep a promise. The stigma you brand yourself with grows deeper, trapping you in a vicious cycle where the next time you start something, it triggers even greater fear and even more severe perfectionism. So, how in the world do we break out of this suffocating prison of lethargy and fear? The first step to detoxing is surprisingly simple. You need to fire the perfectionist living inside you, and in their place hire a half-asser. I want to give you a very bizarre mission. Starting tomorrow, when you begin something, do not vow to create the best possible result. Instead, make a resolution. Let's create the absolute worst garbage draft in the world. Yes, exactly. You are going to make actual garbage. If you need to write a report, just type out a stream of pure gibberish, typos and all, just to get the first line down. If you need to diet, don't plan for 2 hours at the gym every day starting tomorrow. Stand up right now, do exactly 1 sloppy squat, and lie right back down. The engine of our brain has incredibly high friction, meaning it takes a massive amount of energy to start the ignition. But once it starts rolling, the law of inertia carries it forward much easier than you'd expect. You must lower the threshold of starting infinitely. Lower it so much that even an ant could step over it. The start needs to be so trivial that you think, what is even the point of doing this? Only then can you take a step forward without fear. And most importantly, it is time to forgive yourself. Think about all those nights you spent staring at the ceiling, eating away at yourself in bed. Please, comfort yourself for those fierce internal battles that no one else knew about. You were not being lazy. Ironically, you were frozen simply because your desire to do well was so immense, because you value your life so deeply, and because you wanted to live it perfectly. Gently place a hand on your chest and tell yourself, it's okay, you don't have to be perfect. So what if you mess up? If you fall, you just dust yourself off and get back up. You worked so hard, shivering in fear, curling up and trying to survive all this time. The outcome does not prove your worth. Whether you achieve something or not, whether your diet succeeds or fails, whether others applaud you or point fingers at you, your intrinsic value as a human being never, ever changes. Just as a crisp $1 bill and a crumpled up $1 bill thrown on the floor are both still worth exactly $1. Your existence alone is already radiant and whole. That is all for the mental detox I prepared for you today. Tonight, I hope you don't tear your hair out trying to create a flawless schedule for tomorrow. Instead, I hope you hold that frightened inner child tightly, close your eyes peacefully, and imagine yourself taking a very messy but brave first step tomorrow. To the countless people standing frozen in fear of starting, I hope my story today serves as a small key to unlock that firmly shut door. If someone you know is fighting a lonely battle by themselves, please share this video to offer them comfort. Psychology Lemon will be back here next time, bringing another story to softly tend to the hidden wounds of your daily life. Your subscriptions and likes are my greatest driving force in preparing the next story. You worked truly hard today, just surviving and just trying your best to live well. You are a much braver person than you think. Have a peaceful night. I am sincerely rooting for your tomorrow.